Hi, I'm Linda OJ.
And I'm Juan Espindola.
Welcome to another episode of the Next Gen Business Podcast.
Let's go.
The Next Gen Business Podcast is produced by the Small Business Community Network. Visit them online at www.sbcncanada.org.
All right, so thank you for everyone that's listening and watching our video right now. As you guys know, this is a podcast was created for young entrepreneurs or people in school still trying to navigate the world of business. So today we're lucky enough to have another guest. His name is Juan Espindola. He's actually my twin brother, and he does a lawn maintenance / landscaping company. And then Linda, if you want to just say hi to Juan.
I'd love to say hi to your twin brother. I've heard all about you, Juan.
Oh yeah, thank you. I've heard great things about you guys too.
Oh, you are lovely. I'm so grateful that you could come on the podcast today because your business story is quite unique, I think, in the sense that you've planned, you've prioritized, and you know exactly what you're doing. Whereas, not being rude, a lot of new businesses don't even know what they're doing. So I guess I'm going to hand over the first question to Aaron because he's your twin.
So I guess for our viewers and our listeners, maybe why don't you tell us a little bit like what you do, what your company is, and how you got started, just so that they have a little bit of a background information about that.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on this podcast. Super excited to be on here. But so my name is Juan Espindola. I've been the owner of Green Loon Home Services. Used to be called Cuts for College Mowing, and then now we're Green Loon Home Services. I've been doing that for about 4 years altogether. But recently, the past 2 years, actually took over from Aaron because we were running with Aaron and then our other friend all together. But then I decided to kind of take the reins and kind of push the company into a different direction. So so I do that, and then I'm also a marketing student at Conestoga College. So that's been a lot of fun, but definitely been learning a lot from that school, and also from like running your own business and everything. So it's been a lot of great things. Definitely been a lot of hurdles I've had to go through, but yeah.
So I guess my first question would be, why did you want to start your business? I mean, what prompted you to start a lawn care business?
So ever since I was actually young, I had a very entrepreneurial spirit. I've always wanted to do my own thing. There's a story where me and Aaron and I, we'd go to like events and sell popsicles and do stuff like that. We just always like love to do business, and I've always wanted to own my own company also. And then the reason we started off with lawn mowing is because we were all students at college. And we only had really summers to do full-time jobs. And instead of wanting to go work part-time somewhere for the summer, we decided to start up the own landscaping business. And yeah, there's a lot of clients out there. There's a lot of potential. So I kind of saw an opportunity and just kind of went with it.
Oh yeah, I remember the days we would sell the popsicles, and we've really came a long way from those days. But now that we're actually making more than enough to buy a pizza, how do you like running your own business right now? Is it everything you expected, or?
Honestly, one of the biggest misconceptions is people think that being your own boss and having your own company, you could kind of make your own hours, and it's easier because you don't have to go in for a shift or whatever. You could kind of more or less make your own schedules. However, that's not the case. It's actually a lot of work. There's times when you're just middle of the night sort of thing, and sometimes clients message you and you got to answer in the middle of the night sort of thing. So there's that. I really enjoy doing what I do. I love working. I actually work with Aaron. He's one of my employees right now. And then I still have a couple other people that we employ. Love doing it. We mainly do lawn maintenance, so residential contracts, but we also do some commercial, and we do also renovations and work on like houses. We actually had a really cool property. Like it was a really big, it was a mansion, and we did it in Aurora. We worked there for like a whole year, basically building it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I remember when Aaron was talking about how you'd kind of taken over the running of the business, that you decided to concentrate on the brand and make sure that the brand became memorable and stood out. And I noticed you are wearing your brand today. So could you tell us a little bit about how you came to that decision and, what steps you took to get there?
So yeah, for sure. So basically, how it all started, they were basically just in shorts, running shoes, and a regular T-shirt. And I saw that, I'm like, listen, guys, we gotta become more official. We gotta put our brand out there, especially when you're dealing with a lot of consumers and like people who are used to like seeing like brand name companies and dealing with them because they don't want to be like bombarded with like not small businesses, but random people off like Kijiji and sort of thing, because we do get a lot of clients from Kijiji. So that's like one of the main things I would say for if anyone's trying to start their own business. One of the main things is you need to like really stand out. You can't just be like your image every time you step out the door. You gotta like you're an image of your company, right? And that's one of the big things that, especially when you're dealing with like residential people, they don't want just random people coming to the house. Like, maybe you'll steal something, right? The fact that you have a uniform, everything makes everything look so much more official. And like we are like super official, right? So I think that, and we also look great. Right now there's like a bunch of companies out there, and you see people like in shorts, like, and they look like they're just like the owners, but they're actually not. They're like from big like companies, and it's just like the small little details of like buying a uniform that really sets us apart. And like we've had like a bunch of clients and stuff tell us like, wow, like you guys look so much bigger. Like I thought you guys were owned by like a big company or something. You guys look so official. And we're like, no, like I'm the owner and stuff, and like we just take care of the little details.
Oh, Aaron, this is fantastic, isn't it? Because you guys, Aaron, I know you've got your own fashion business, and that is doing wonderfully, and that's very professional. But I didn't know, that you'd work so hard, both of you or all of you as a team. But primarily, you, one, came up with the idea. I think it's very important because we get people phoning our home phones saying, "Can we clean your ducks?" Not DUCKS, the other ones, and they don't even know my name. They go, "Are you the homeowner?" Am I going to let them in my home? No, of course not. If we were going to look for a lawn company, we do look for one that's professional and probably looks like they've been in business a long time. So that's a very clever trick there, Juan. And Aaron, how do you find working with a family member? I know we had a couple of weeks ago a podcast. We had somebody working with family members, and be nice to your twin brother, Aaron. I can see that cheeky grin on your face.
Yeah, to answer your question, working with my brother, it's especially since he's the one that's actually running it. It's really nice because when I have any ideas, I just bring it up to him, and I don't have any issues like feeling like, oh, I can't tell him this, or I think he's not gonna like consider what I'm saying seriously. So it's really nice that he is my brother, and we literally lived together for 24 years, and that's why it's really nice. But then sometime when we have problems, you kind of have to make sure that you like address them, but that you have to do it in a nice way because you're going to see that person for the rest of your life, and you don't want to ruin your relationship. And that's something really important that when you work with your family member, you just have to have open communication and make sure that you guys are nice and have like good standards to each other. So I love it. I love it. It's so much fun. Juan, do you want to tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about the brand, like what the brand means? Because I think there's a little bit that you didn't touch upon, like for Green Loon.
Yeah, so Green Loon, people are like, why Green Loon? That's kind of seems random, right? So the reason why, number one, is because we're a Canadian company, and when I was looking for names, there's a lot of like Canadian this, Canadian that landscaping. There's a lot of like already good names taken. And so what we decided to do was green. Green because we're trying to be environmentally friendly. We try to recycle, like we do junk removal and stuff, and we always sort metals, make sure we're doing the environmentally responsible thing. And then for the loon part, it's because there's a loon on the loony. So we thought that was super Canadian. We're like, oh, Green Loon, it sounds nice. We have a nice little logo and everything. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like a little bird. But yeah, I think it's really like one of those names also that kind of is not just super focused on one thing, because before the problem was that it was just cuts for college mowing. And although it did help out because people are like, oh, these are college students trying to like pay their bills, that was kind of too hyper focused on just cutting grass. And like cutting grass is great, but we also wanted to expand into other fields such as junk removal, renovations, just basically anything that a homeowner would want. We want to be able to do that. So by saying Green Loon Home Services, it kind of allows us to offer more products and not make it confusing for the consumer.
Wow, what a lot you're giving us today for our listeners, especially if they are thinking about starting a new business. And the foresight to think that you're going to the foresight to think you're going to grow your brand, down the road. That's amazing. Not many people your age, 24 is quite young, to be entrepreneurs and be serious about it. I congratulate you both and anybody else in your team. So could you give us some tips for listeners, maybe college students, high school students, or even small businesses who are thinking, I'm not going in the right direction. What tips could you give us, Juan, about, you give us a great one about, branding and looking professional. Have you got a couple of more for us?
Yeah, for sure. One of the big things is make sure you keep track of your accounts and you keep track of where your money is going. And because when tax season comes along, it's a big hassle, especially for small businesses. Sometimes they don't have their books in order and stuff. A really great website that I use actually is Quickbooks. It's super easy. I think it's around $50 a month. It's a little bit more on the expensive side, but it makes everything so streamlined. You could literally put in estimates. You could send invoices. And for example, we deal with like 50 plus customers a month, right? So sending invoices, we used to do it on spreadsheets, or Aaron used to do it on spreadsheets. And then when I came along, I'm like, oh, there's a better way to do it. Let's find out how. So we ended up using QuickBooks, and that's super easy. Like, it makes it all scalable, and that's like one of the main things. If you're starting a business, you just got to remember in the beginning, it's going to be a little bit more work, especially if you want to scale it up. Just put in the extra time, spend the extra little bit of money to buy nice uniforms, pay for a website and everything, so that later in the future you could actually be able to scale it up the way you want it to, and you're not like hampered by the fact that it's not like you can't send invoices on a mass scale and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So my question would be, I guess, you said that you were going to school, like you are going to school, and you did it because you didn't want to get a full-time job in the summer or part-time job in the summer. You wanted to like make your own money, right? So how has it been balancing that out with school? I know for me, like I do a clothing brand, as you know, and it's all automated. Like I've already put in the hours in the back end and just trying to automate everything. So I don't necessarily have to be on my computer 24/7, clicking on every order, delivering them, So for you, it's a very service-based business. So like, how do you balance that with school?
I think it's super important to like prioritize what you want to do. For example, for me, I'm very fortunate because we get most of the majority of our work during the summer and actually don't do summer school or anything. So a lot of the time I'm like free during that time. So for me, it's like super easy. But we also do work during the winter. We were actually at contracts to build like a whole airplane hangar and stuff in Aurora, which we did that. And honestly, it's just about scheduling, making sure that you know what kind of assignments you have done. Make sure you do that on a timely manner. Don't leave everything to last minute, because worst case scenario, if you leave something at the last minute and then something in the company, like for example, someone can't make a shift, you're gonna have to like cover for it. Your business has to come first, because that's like your client reputation and everything. So just making sure that you're on top of everything and do everything in a timely manner. It's the most important thing. Just be prioritized, honestly.
That's a really good tip. How do you balance it when you're getting your clients and you had exams? Because obviously your exam and your school come first when you're in school, then your company. And how does that work? Do you have to have like a brother that helps you out?
uh, yeah, I mean, my brother obviously to help me out, but the thing is, like when I'm getting clients and stuff for lawn mowing specifically, because that's the time that I would get clients for that. It's actually not too hard to schedule everything. Mainly, it's mostly replying to everyone, because we don't start till May 1st, and then usually like some exams are already kind of done by then. So yeah, it's mainly just replying and checking out property before you send and giving them quotes and stuff, so you could do the service for them. But it's not too hard, to be honest. But just you got to make sure you know what you have.
I think you guys are a really good example to our listeners that if you really, really want to do something and you're passionate about it, you can move forward. Because, like I say, Aaron's got a successful fashion business. I'm sure you help him in some ways, and you've got this business that Aaron's working with you or for you, and you help each other, with various tasks. I'm sure your parents are proud of both of you. It's so lovely to have twins on the show. It's amazing, and you're such nice people. Seriously, you're really. And if more younger, people got interested in starting a business and thinking about moving forward, it's not just having your own business, though, either, is it? It's about, well, I don't want to own a business, but I want to work at a large organisation. And a lot of things you says, Juan, and you, Aaron, is a lot of the organisational skills and thought-provoking, thoughts that basically big organisations want. So you're both going to go far. Unfortunately, it's that time where I have to say, thank you, Juan, for coming on the show. It's been wonderful, but it's goodbye from me.
Thank you to Juan for being on an episode of the Next Gen Business Podcast. So for anyone that's listening, so our viewers and our listeners, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the alert button, hit the little bell so that you get alerted when we drop a new episode. As well as follow us on Instagram. It's this Next Gen Business Podcast. And then if you want to be on one of our episodes, just send us a DM on Instagram, or if you go through our website, we have a little form to fill out, and then just fill that out and we can get you set up. But it's going to be goodbye from me as well. Thank you for listening.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I always have a great time talking to you guys. And honestly, this podcast is great, especially for people who are trying to start their own business. So thank you.
Thanks for listening. Check us out at www.nextgenbusinesspodcast.com.